it's Joel from RC Max UK here. Hope you're all good. Now this is another part to my, used RCs I guess, or buying a used RC series, which I've already covered a couple of cars that I've got which I bought used. One was the Haval Hyper ST, and also recently I've had the Losi Muggy, which I bought used. Now this car is a first for me, because this was given to me for free by a friend of mine. He basically had it for a few years, and then it's been sitting in his garage for about, well, I'd guess 3 to 5 years probably, just unused. So he basically decided to give it away. He just rang me up and said, do you want this car? I'm not using it. It's got a few issues, so do you want to fix it and I'll just give it to you? So I said, yeah, why not? It's a XTM Racing Monster MT. So an XTM Racing MMT. And it's a nitro again. All the used RCs I've got have been nitros. I think nitro for a lot of people is one of those things where people buy them and then don't know how to use them or have trouble with them and get rid of them fairly quickly. And I think this is the case with him. He used this a fair bit, as you can see from the kind of marks on it. But it's not been used massively. And I think he just had a few issues and he kind of didn't have time to bother with it anymore. So just a quick look at the chassis. So you've got front and rear bumpers are the same. This is the rear end. Exhaust exits out under the bumper there via a kind of tube. You got your 4 shocks on the rear tower, plastic towers of course. You have got adjustable turnbuckles for camber, which is good of course. Big exhaust pipe there, nice and chromed up. That's the 0.2 XTM engine. New air filter foam required there, that's for sure. Massive tank. It's got the 2-speed transmission there, which I think just changes up on its own. Well, not on its own. It's got a kind of, I guess when it reaches a certain RPM, it changes up to the higher speed gear. You've got brake pads in there. What looks like 4 discs as far as I can see. 2 at the front and 2 at the back. You've got your battery tray, which is a large battery box here. And you've got your receiver tray just there. Throttle servo over this side, standard size. There's that huge tank again, which honestly is massive. That's a massive tank. I'm guessing this is a thirsty truck. There's a servo hole here, which is empty, which I don't know what that's for. I don't know if anyone can enlighten me on that one. And you got the twin steering servos. I don't know if maybe you'd have a single servo for steering mounted in there, possibly, I'm not sure. But yeah, twin steering servos. You got this metal brace going from the front plate to the middle. You got another metal rod going from the back of that middle plate down onto the bottom of the chassis, and you've got another 2 braces, one just here going from the rear shock tower down to the base of the chassis, and another one at the front here going from the front shock tower down to the base of the chassis. So it's got some bracing on it. Another 8 shock absorbers in a plastic tower. You got adjustable toe via these links, and again you got the camber up here. So yeah, and then that's that identical front bumper. So that's basically front and rear bumper are the same. So that's basically a kind of overview of the chassis. So when I first got it, it was covered in dust and dirt. I've given it a bit of a quick clean up. The engine was out of it, and there was no receiver in it, so I've put in a cheap FlySky receiver for sort of £5. The exhaust was off, so that's just got a new cable tie. The engine seemed fine. I've set it to stock settings, and that's about it really, put it back in. There was a clutch issue, which all I did was put a new bearing in the clutch bell, so that's a very simple job, which I think the guy I got it off just wasn't sure about. And charged the battery up, and basically in the stock settings I've just tried to start it and it started up within a few pulls, so that was pretty good. So I'm fairly confident that this is gonna be a bit of a laugh, just as a sort of free RC. Now as far as XTM goes, I've never had an XTM before, and looking at it I'm not overly impressed, I gotta say. I don't know, does anyone know anything about these? Are they any good? I'm not a fan of 8 shocks. I've always found 8 shock setups to be a pain in the backside, because you've got 8 times the trouble, haven't you? You've got 8 times the shock shafts to bend, the fluid to change, the springs to sort, and all that kind of thing. So although it does look really good, and I can't say it doesn't look good because it does, I just don't like the setup. I prefer one big fat shock on each corner, to be honest. That's what I prefer. But yeah, it's got a big nitro engine, a 0.28. It started pretty quickly. It's got a 2-speed transmission, and it's pretty big generally. The car is big, so I can see why people would like the look of it, because it's kind of got a few, I suppose, redeeming features about it. But I'm not a fan of the way it looks. It's got flimsy looking arms and turnbuckles. It's got these kind of thin looking alloy hubs, and I'm just generally a bit concerned about it. A couple of things that were broken on it were a couple of the CVD pins on the front, so I've just replaced those using a nail actually at the moment, and I've got some drill bits that I'm going to cut down to just create those. So yeah, there's a few little issues, but nothing major. So yeah, if you know anything about the XTM, or this XTM MT, you know, is it any good? I don't know. But I'll give it a go. I'll have a look at it. I'll start it up, use it, get a bash video out, and you can see how it runs. It's another thing that I'm sure probably sort of brings people to cars, or monster trucks especially, is kind of wheel size. And this thing does have big wheels. I mean, they almost look too big to me. They're pretty huge. This is a kind of truggy, or a wide-ish truggy wheel, so you can kind of see, I suppose, the difference in size there. Oh, that one's in front of it. Let's put it there. So yeah, it's pretty massive, and you know, again, I'm not a fan of chromy looking wheels. The tyres look pretty beaten up actually, and you know, the wheels are a bit cracked, a few of the wheels. So yeah, there's potential I might run a kind of smaller wheel to see if how well it does on that. Used RCs, are they worth getting? Are they worth messing around with? I think if you like fiddling with stuff, why not? You can get a much cheaper truck used often. Often they're not heavily used because people get into this hobby and then get straight out of it again, or they find they don't like it, or they find they haven't got the time for it, so things just get put away and they don't get used. So I'd always, if you know a bit about RC, or you like fiddling with stuff and you like fixing things, then why not buy something used and save a bit of money? So there it is with the wheels and body on. Basically, to me, it kind of has this really kind of cheap look to it. I don't know. I can't think there's any reason why I'd ever want to buy one of these myself. Although I got to say, if I'm totally wrong here, and these are the best RC monster trucks you can buy, then please set me straight. The wheels just look too big for it, or the body look. I don't know. They're too close to the body to me. And I don't know what it is, but I just don't really like the look of this. What can I say? It's free. I'm going to use it. I'll put a couple of videos out of it to show you how it runs. But yeah, XTM Racing. I don't know. I think I'm assuming this is going to be a disappointment. But anyway, obviously free. Thanks to my buddy for giving it to me. And yeah, the plan is to put a couple of bash videos out with it if I can get it going nicely and use it. And yeah, just basically encourage you guys, get out there, get something cheap, fiddle with it, mess with it, see what it's like. I'll just show you what it looks like with a set of smaller wheels. There's a couple of things I do like about it. It feels kind of fairly solid chassis-wise, and it has got hex hardware, and it's got some droop screws as well, so you can actually raise and lower the handling. I'm wondering if maybe this could be a kind of, with a 2-speed, it could be made into some sort of high-speed rig maybe, rather than a kind of off-roady jumping basher, because I get the feeling that it's going to break, given some kind of hard abuse jumping-wise. But yeah, so here it is with some different wheels on it. Okay, so that's what with these Panther tyres and these truggy wheels. Basically, I guess, you know, to be fair, they look too small for it now, I guess. But it looks kind of more, I don't know, more lower and meaner, and kind of the wider stance, or a bit of space between the wheels and the body, just to me looks more like it should be this kind of design. I guess we're kind of maybe a bigger diameter tyre, but yeah. So either way, XTM Monster MT. Get some vids to come on it soon. Okay guys, take it easy. Thanks for watching.